All right, this is a message for all of the students in COMM 101, the summer class in Fundamentals of Public Speaking, 80N. I'm going to give you some general tips, and then we'll get into the critiques of the process speech. If there is anything that I could stress violently, it would be the following. Please follow all directions. The directions especially about the camera shot, about the audience, and about doing the discussion board in full. Let me explain. Some of you on the camera shot are still shooting across the room. I can't see your faces. Some of you are still shooting into bright daylight, and the iris in your camera iris is down. I cannot see your faces. I must be able to see your face, just like this shot you see right now. And oh, by the way, the microphone is maybe 1.5 feet away from me on my webcam, and a lot of you are shooting across the room. The microphone's on your camera, and as a result, your audio just is terrible, and I can't hear you. The discussion board. Sometimes the discussion board says you need to react to another student's posting. If you are instructed to do that and you don't do it, it is costing you points on the discussion boards. You know, there's 10 points and 16 discussion boards, and some of you are leaving points laying on the table. You don't want to do that. I ask that everybody send a photo ID, a driver's license. Many of you have not done that. You may know that when you look at your grades, if you look under your fantasy name, you will see a green box there where your fantasy name is. If there's a green box, I've received your ID. If there is no green box, I haven't received your ID. This is your last chance. If I can't prove by looking at a photo ID that that is actually you giving that speech, you can't get credit for it. Pretty simple. All right. Do not, from this point on, come anywhere near, in the same ballpark, in the same neighborhood, in the same city, in the same state, even in the same continent, of any topic you have already done. So, for instance, if you've done anything at all in the military, that's it. Nothing else can even mention military. If you've done anything on technology, nothing else can mention technology. If you've done anything else on technical things, refrigerations, how something works, nothing else anywhere close to that. Make sure that you stay away from topics you have already done. The whole point of this class is for you to stretch yourself. While we're on that, a lot of you are giving speeches that are just way too technical. You're not talking to me. You're out there in the ether giving some highfalutin kinds of speech. And, you know, I can't believe that you would even be interested in hearing someone talk about some of the things that have been talked about. When you're conversational, when you talk about things that interest you, and you know from your interest in it, it interests a lot of other people, then you're in the right ballpark. With the directions I convey to you on the videos, make sure you follow those. You can't pass this class and not do all of the speeches with an audience. 2 points there. All speeches must be done. All speeches must have the required audience. You run your speeches from now on. What I prefer that you do, and it'll save you a lot of trouble later, is do a transcript of your speech. In other words, write the speech first. Many of you are just doing what you think are speaker notes and speaker outline, speech outline, and it's terrible. Write the speech. Write it out, word for word. Then run it through SafeAssign to make sure that you haven't plagiarized anything anywhere. Let me go back to the audience. When you show the audience, again, you're still not following directions on that. I want everybody to come, and I want them to look at the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then leave, and the next person come into this same shot. In other words, it's where you're going to be standing, and they hold for 5 seconds. I can't believe that some of the people you're passing off as audience are really old enough, and since they're either out of focus, in the dark, or I can't see them because you do a zip like that, and I hope they're people. I won't accept that anymore. You've got to do things right. Source your speeches. Some of you people have been talking about things that you cannot possibly be the world's greatest expert on. And I'm sure you got information from someplace. And in a composition, you'd have a bibliography and you have your sources there. In a speech, you must give your sources in the speech. And it would be if you were to say, for instance, that 10 people a day are killed in auto accidents in Indiana, I would be saying, how do you know that? Where did that come from? Whose information is that? It had to come from somewhere, or you're making it up. And you better not be making it up. So what I want to hear you say is, according to the National Safety Council, according to the Indiana State Police, according to AAA, X number of people are killed in Indiana each day in traffic accidents. Now you've got a source, and now it's clear where you have that. Analyze your audience. And in terms of that, in terms of the topic, you know, some of the speeches that were given this time were like, what two people in the world would even have the slightest interest in what you're talking about? All right? Analyze your audience. It's a general audience. It's me, for one, but if you were doing this in a classroom, it would be fellow students. And many of your fellow students do not have the computer technician level of knowledge that some of you do. Some of them do not have the level of knowledge. Always think in terms of the audience needs to learn what this is. That's what a process speech is about, and many of you didn't do that. Know their level of present knowledge of the topic that you're giving. Call me if you have any problems with exams, and call me immediately. Some of you still aren't doing that, and you're going past the deadline date on the exams, and it's costing you dearly. Audience is required. If you don't have an audience or it's not the right size, you will fail the speech. Now, someone found a thing in the syllabus that says that you have extra days to turn in the speech. They also failed to note that there's a 10% deduction in the grade for every day you're late. The deadlines for all work in this class are Monday at noon. Okay? Pretty simple. If a speech, which is the only thing that according to the syllabus will be accepted late, comes in late, it will have a 10%, that's one letter grade, by the way, one letter grade deduction for every day it's late. I'm going to start to be a real SOB on a lot of stuff now. Audience not there, you fail the speech. Not showing me the audience, you fail the speech. You don't send me a speech outline if it's required, or you don't send me speaker notes if they're required, you fail the speech. If you fail to have sources, if they're required, you fail the speech. Okay? You kind of get where we're going. You now must start to follow directions to the letter. If you have any questions whatsoever, give me a call. Have a great 4th of July. It's my birthday. I'm going to be celebrating. And don't forget, Monday at noon, even though it's July 5th, Monday at noon, everything is due. This is an online class, so you've got to turn things in. I'm going to start a series of critiques now on the speeches, the process speeches, and I'll give you the addresses on those, and you'll have to look. And please look at all speeches, whether you've seen your critique or not. There are things I say that could be of help to you in your next speech, so make sure you take a look. Okay? Have a great one. We'll talk to you next time. Happy 4th.